Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. Today is the last episode of Derek's DLC, and then we're going to be hopping into Baxter's, because Baxter's released, and I am way too hyped about it. Anyway, without further ado, let's hop into
And
this.
in we go. That's right, you are a good man. No buts or qualifiers went along with the praise. She will wholeheartedly express approval of her husband. You could see it go straight to Mr. Suarez's ego. Irene didn't take it away from him. The sweethearts were completely enamored and absorbed with one another. Yet Miss Suarez managed to pull her focus off the stud of her heart to address you again. It had to be serious. Thank you for listening to my self-indulgent story. What I really wanted to tell you is that I'm relieved Derek found someone who appreciated him for who he is. The weight of those words fell over you. She knew what happened with Derek, and she knew that you were with him regardless of what happened with his career trajectory. As his mother, it meant a great deal to her. You're welcome to the family, Ari. Thank you. Thanks, you sniffed. I'm grateful I can keep being here. Honestly, I'm moving here for more than just my own family. I want to be near the whole Suarez family, too. We are flattered.
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Hand in hand, the two of you, two wonderful people who raised your amazing friends, smiled over at you. You got to enjoy a little more quality time with Mr. and Mrs. Suarez. Eventually, they requested a moment with their eldest child, likely to share the same sentiment matters with him. It wasn't something you'd stand in the way of, and made room for the two to have a special parent-to-child chat. We're going to go talk to the siblings now. George and Nicholas and Liz were gathered in a corner of the room, fully engrossed in conversation. George's hand batted the air in between the group as Nicholas jerked a finger about. What's up with you three? You were welcomed by the circle with friendly smiles. George folded his arms and switched from one explanation to the other. Nicholas was giving something to the effect of recap to Liz. While talking about the trip, we realized she'd yet to hear about our newly interesting acquaintance, so she was being filled in. Apparently, the Xavier person running Sub Bakery used to paint faces at the boardwalk. Small world, There's no end to the world, the odd connections you end up making with people. Yeah, we're getting philosophical. I'm lucky I got to meet each one of you. I'm looking forward to thoughts we'll meet in the future. We also connected with that psychic. Who knew Shallow? That was weird. You nodded understandingly. I'm looking forward to who we'll meet in the future. So am I. Hopefully one of those people will be Nova, right, George? Liz, well, probably you'll see each other at some point. Your sister was satisfied, snickering into her palm. Besides all that, I have to say I'm surprised Nicholas was the one who reconnected with Xavier. Wouldn't have struggled to recognize them. You know, considering the fact that he was asleep the entire day, I fell asleep after I got my face painted, thanks. I'd been to that boardwalk more than once. I didn't conk out every time. Try a better tease. The dare meant for Liz The dare was meant for Liz. That's what he'd readied for himself, and for why he spoke with boldness. All right. Unfortunately for Nicholas, however, it was George who took on the challenge, speaking plainly with mischievous twinkle deep in his eyes. He knew it wasn't going to go well for his little brother. The only reason Xavier was able to recognize you out of any of us is because you're still a little kid, just taller. How's that? Nice pout. Nico pouted. That round he had no comeback. However, he did have a new strategy. Nicholas looked at you, his only potential ally, pleaded like the child insisted he wasn't. The irony wasn't lost on Nico, and he intentionally played into that. Harry, these two meanies are ganging up on me. Leave Nicholas alone. He's a sweet boy. Well, George does have a point. I'm glad you haven't changed, Nico. You're the best the way you are. Clearly, John and Liz haven't changed either. I'm glad. It's not Nico's fault he hit on a great style. It's not Nico's fault he hit on a great style at 6. None of you should change. You're perfect to me. I'm glad you haven't changed, Nico. You're the best the way you are. Clearly, George and Liz haven't either.
Totally.
Right, you're still big kids too. Ari says so. But Ari was glad about it. And we're teasing you. If Ari appreciates that, I'm sure how much And if we're teasing you, if Eri appreciates that, I'm not sure how much of a defense that is. Hey, you can be glad someone hasn't improved. That doesn't mean it's a compliment. You, Liz, George, and Nicholas all laughed together, continued to chat upon the mysteries of life. None of them said this was goodbye, but when the evening wore on and you needed to move away from sibling group, the sea you shared between you meant more than usual. You worked the room, made your rounds, and had a few minutes to yourself, used to think and reflect. There was a lot to consider. Life was barreling forward for you. Unfortunately, no inner peace or full understanding of the universe came while you zoned out in the corner. Perhaps a consolation, you were rewarded with Derek returning to you. After finishing his talk with Mr. and Miss Suarez, he had an idea.
So?
Hey, want to go out on the balcony, get some fresh air? Same as he did when he first parted ways with you. Derek pointed left at the most crucial part of his motivation and said, "This might be the last time you have a chance to be alone together before you go." That sounds nice? Okay. I thought you weren't going to ask me to go anywhere ever again, you tease. Give a thumbs up. You nodded somberly. That sounds nice. Cool. You quietly went to the sliding glass panel at one end of the living room. But progress halted, arms folded. Derek stared at the closed door as an impassable wall. Aren't you going to get that for me? You strangled a laugh that was something you should have seen coming. It wasn't what you wanted, of course. Derek would end up letting you have it. You accepted the baton in form of a door handle and opened it. After
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Eri. Derek passed on by with his head held high. You followed right after. The event was still alive in small pockets of the conversation. You and Derek managed to slip away without notice. As soon as you walked out, the warm evening breeze caressed your body. It carried the sharp scent of the ocean and the delicate perfume of the flowers who made their own home at Derek's place. Derek ignored the one lonely chair on the veranda and rested up against the rail, exactly as he did the first time. On the horizon, the sea gleamed like molten gold encased in a city of silver. You leaned against the railing too. You stood near him. You lingered by the door. We're gonna lean too. Out there, he had his spot, and you had yours. All was as it should be. The seemingly endless expanse in front of you, with nothing more than a few thin bars between you and it, was a welcome sight. With you both settled in, Derek grinned as if it was any other day, or rather because he couldn't help smiling at you no matter the circumstances. Eri, I owe you an apology, at least an explanation. No, both. You blinked as if there was one thing you could count on. It was Derek Suarez. Wouldn't do you wrong, not intentionally anyway. Huh, about what? Well, that's obvious. I had asked you to marry me in a way, and I almost didn't realize this was the year it's supposed to happen. How inconsiderate can I get? That outburst sapped him of all energy. Derek's shoulders slumbered, and his tone dropped even lower.
It's been a long time.
We've been apart for a long time. Looks like I was in denial about how long. Days, weeks, months, and years just went by before I even knew it. I couldn't be the deadline already. I thought, no way, especially with how not grown up I felt, how non-figured out everything was. But it was true. The summer when we were 23 was the year I picked. Is it good or bad timing that this marriage pact coincided with my career crisis? I don't know. The rhetorical question lingered. Then a bit of humor returned to Derek's darkened features. Actually, I do. It's for the best that this all happened now. We could work the whole mess out in one, though that was also part of why I lost sight of things. I don't want you to think it meant nothing because of that.
I swear.
It's not that it didn't matter to me. It mattered so much I couldn't even face it. I had to run away. Derek almost cracked from the self-imposed pressure. His voice didn't break. I mentioned some of it already, but asking you to marry me if there was nobody else wasn't one of those wild impulsive stunts I pull sometimes. I really thought it through, as in I thought through all of the ways I could maybe be with you without daring to just ask you to be with me.
The truth is...
I hinged a lot of hopes on that plan, but it was wishful thinking to see it as a solution. It doesn't work that way. His gaze parted from you. He had nothing particular to take his attention, so Derek was simply staring.
You!
The future is looking bright, Ari. I love the city and my family, but honestly, I was really missing something. Coming back to Prism Vista, knowing you were gone already was a blow. That's patched up now. I'm so pumped you're going to be moving in. I feel like I can get off a treadmill for the first time in over a decade and go somewhere, possibly on a walk with my partner. It thrilled you to see Derek bursting with real optimism, not simply wanting and hoping that it would be good, okay, in face of fears, but having a certainty that it would be good. You'd both embrace that, what was coming next, with open arms. That's what I like to hear. I'm looking forward to it. Here's to us, Derek. I think we've earned that. You smiled proudly at him. Here's to us. To us. With arms wrapped around your shoulders, you curled it in, bringing you closer towards him. Then his lips were on your cheek. He giggled. We're gonna kiss him back. Derek pulled away for a moment, intending to once again plant a kiss on the side of your face, but you turned to face and catch his lips instead. He linked that one. Derek leaned in and rubbed your back lovingly. It was lovely and precious and much too short. Hey, your parents told me a story of how they got together. We're gonna just sigh contentedly. You and your darling boyfriend exchanged some sweet smooches, cuddling and adoring to the degree that would certainly be embarrassing to outsiders if there were any around. And then a swooping sound snatched your attention away from Derek. Sliding door had been opened. The youngest son skipped in as if invited, and the middle child flowed after. George was less cheeky, but equally unrepentant. Hi, Derek. Hi, Ari. Hello. What's going on? Derek flung his head back in a groan. He let go of you with all the begrudging frustration of a teen boy caught canoodling under the bleachers by the teacher. Not again. Every damn time. There's no privacy anywhere, even my own house.
Hey.
Nicholas handled the childish display with unearned airs of maturity. His poise was tall, and he cut an accusing finger through the air. You're the one who invited us over. If you wanted to be alone with Ari, why did you throw a party with several other people? That was a strong point. Worse still for Derek, George had an even better one. Honestly, confused by his big brother's reaction, he planned stated a key consideration. This whole side of the apartment is glass. We could see everything happening without opening the door. Coming over here feels more polite to me than watching from the inside. At that, Derek snorted with a laugh. He was less ashamed of what you were doing than Nicholas, who was for interrupting.
I see how it is.
Fine, it made sense to get together one more time before they left, but I'm regretting being so reasonable now. One of these days, we might learn to be more self-centered, and then you'll be sorry. I kind of doubt that. The part about you ever being self-centered, not us being sorry over it. Yeah, sorry, bro. That's not happening. Don't be mad, Derek. I'm happy having George and Nicholas around. No, I'm with Derek. Party's over. Everyone go home, you tease. Forgot how much problem this kind of thing was. You laughed. George, Nicholas, that's not alright. You could have at least knocked. You sighed. Shook your head in amusement. I forgot how much a problem this kind of thing was. Me too. What a mistake. Yeah, that was on you. Oh, come on, Nico. Don't you really want to be so bad that everyone else's fault if they don't expect you being an issue? Actually, I do. But that couldn't be the end of it. Trouble came in threes. Your own sibling appeared behind. She leaned against the door, leering at the scene. Romancing out in the open while all of your siblings and parents are right there, and I had no idea the two of you were so indulgent. One rotten apple spoiled the rest. Nicholas and George had originally barged in with the pure intention of being with you. Now they were snickering over Liz jabs at you and Derek's expense. I'm a bad influence on him. Sorry, we couldn't babysit you the whole time, Liz. You quit. All we wanted was some peace and quiet, you lamented. You rolled your eyes. You stared silently. This could not get more embarrassing. I'm a bad influence on him. I think it's a good kind of bad influence. Of course this happened. Why expect anything else? That's what Derek's wearily lifted eyebrows seemed to express. You know, we were just talking about how self-absorbent I am, and now it's not enough in my opinion. From even further into the house, Mr. Suarez waved a hand, popped over your sister's head. It's okay, we're fine. We're on our own. Enjoy your time together. Your parents were bursting with laughter, ineffectively trying to model that staying quiet would have been less obtrusive than joining the situation.
Really?
Oh, really? Dad? Your trouble estimates were proven to be highly underestimated. It didn't come in threes. It came in as many amount as physically possible. Miss Suarez came to get her husband, clearing a path through Liz, George, and Nicholas.
Excuse me.
Excuse us? She escorted him back to the couch with the fuss, but no amount of cordialousness on her end could smooth out the three-ring circus. Derek barely saw the retreating form of his abashed parents, or your moms and Mr. Holden holding giggles fits in the distance, or even the set of siblings watching and waiting for what would happen next. His arms were folded and his brain was working. You and he had become the center of the universe, and that wouldn't do. In the end, Mr. Reliable himself went for his oldest, most reliable solution to awkward situations. Hey, look over there. What? While the others were clearly distracted by Derek's fantastic ploy, said Mastermind slid near you and whispered intently, "Run." You nodded, imperceptible to try everyone but Derek, whose focus was set entirely on seeing that gesture. You both knew that it had to be done. Your hand found his, and yours without tearing your eyes from the target, an escape route. Out the front. You dashed through the opening left by Miss Suarez, speeding by Liz before she could block the way again. The eldest were shocked, the younger ones were shouting, but you didn't stop. Through the gap in the sliding glass door, you passed the couches and out the apartment entrance. You and Derek ditched the whole party in a blink. Together you flew down the stairs, and there was no patience to wait for an elevator. Once on ground level, you exploded through the last set of doors in your path onto the sidewalk, leaving laughter and joy in your wake. You may have escaped the building, but who knew if they'd follow you out? That wasn't something you'd put past your siblings. The hand gripping yours still held tight. Derek encouraged you along, beaming wide. Let's go. Oh my god! Look at him! Look at him! Ah! Let's go. Yeah, make sure you keep up. Okay, let's go, you jokingly mimic. He grinned as him just as sweetly. Make sure you keep up. Friends, lovers, partners in crime, formerly conditional fiancés. For no matter the circumstances, you and Derek were always a team, and together you were unstoppable. In Derek's bright eyes, you saw a reflection of your past. The first day you'd met, when he bounded up to you so unafraid, the time he'd much less bravely bolted from a very cross Elizabeth, and the moment you arrived in Prism City bus station, such a short and long time ago, when he'd come running for you. Each happy moment you experienced became only a memory of what used to be, but that was life. But that's what life was, and it was okay. Right then, you were running side by side. You couldn't take it for granted. You wouldn't waste the chance. Instead, you would keep going for as long as your feet could carry you. As it should be, you and Derek chose another step forward, and then another, forward, forward, and forward, down the glistening city streets and towards the rest of your lives. Finally, I spent all day trying to get through this. You can come back again always. The end. Oh. That was so sweet. So nice. That was so cute and so nice, and I may have played all day. But, like, it's my day off from work. I can do what I want. But it was so cute, cute, and so sweet. I tried to combine cute and sweet into one word. And it makes me smile so big, and I'm just so happy. Like, I thought Derek was cute when I played the first time, but then they released the DLC, and Baxter, I think, his DLC is actually supposed to be released in spring. So any time now, I guess, if I remember correctly. But I really love this game so much. Like, I can't express to you how much I love this game. I'm obviously gonna continue playing it because I have achievements I'm gonna get through on my own for my second playthrough. I'm doing for mine. And then I'm probably going to do a third playthrough because I have to go through everything on the Fond relationship level with Cove. And on that one, I'll probably do Baxter's DLC. And then I'll record the DLC for that and post it when it comes out. But I will not do another full playthrough, but I want to show all the DLC. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for staying to watch all this, and you made it to the end. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. And we'll step back into this game when Baxter releases. Until then, have a great day. Bye-bye.